Good morning, guys. Just gonna put the playlists underneath the video if anyone wants to listen along. Okay, good morning. I just linked the playlist to this live video underneath in the comments. It's also in the comments from the picture I posted yesterday, so if you'd like to listen along, please do so. I'm going to give it just another minute or so, give everyone an opportunity to log on and settle in, and then we'll get started. We are starting an easy seat today, so once you have everything that you need and you're ready to go, you can find a nice, comfortable, cross-legged seated position. All you really need is a mat. That's not even a need, but a space for you to do your yoga, maybe something to drink close by. If you have any props like blocks, you can grab those, get your music ready if you're listening along or listening to whatever else you'd like. And once you have all that ready to go, you can find an easy seat. Sukhasana, easy seat. I'm going to give it literally just under another minute to give everyone a moment to join us, and then we'll get moving. Okay. I'm going to start my music. If you're listening along to the playlist I created, just take off shuffle so it plays right through in order. Okay. And find your nice, comfortable, easy seat if you're not there already. Cross leg. Doesn't matter which leg's in front. We're going to switch in just a few moments. Take a nice deep breath to start, just to settle in. So take a nice deep inhale through the nose, fill all the way up. And open mouth, release. Good. You can have your palms facing up if you're looking to receive a little bit more energy this morning. If you feel like you're already on the go a little bit, you've had a long morning already and you've been moving around, maybe palms facing down for a little bit of grounding. Or just whatever one feels better for you. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Erica, for anyone who does not know me. I'm going to be guiding you through your yoga flow this morning. And in this easy seat here, you can even close your eyes. Make sure you're nice and tall through the spine, sucking in the belly. And just start to come into your breath. I actually want to offer, we haven't done this one in a while. It's a pretty simple breathing pattern of a box breath where everything repeats for a count of 4. So you'll inhale to a count of 4, hold it for 4, exhale for 4, hold it for 4. So I'll talk you through one if you want to try it. It's a really nice calming pattern, easy to follow. So if you want to try it, start your inhale for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath for 1, 2, 3, 4. Controlled exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would encourage you to try a few rounds of that box breath. And I'm going to take one with you here. So I'm going to inhale. Good. Hold the breath. Slow and controlled exhale. And then hold it again. Everything to a count of 4. Good. And take a few rounds and see how you feel. See if that starts to calm you. If you don't like it, obviously, you don't have to do it. And just return to your natural breath at any point. But I hope everyone's having a great morning. It's a new season. Happy spring to you all. Perfect opportunity, to clean out more than just your closets when they talk about spring cleaning. Really an opportunity for a clean slate and a fresh start. And really kind of analyzing and assessing other areas of your life too that maybe need, not just some cleaning, but maybe some attention. hopefully the longer days, more sunlight, warmer temps will have a positive effect on you. I know they certainly do on me. I really feel the impact of those changes. A little less tired, a little more energy, a little more motivated, all good things, right? So really use that shift if you feel it too to your advantage. And I want to take a moment here before we invite any movements into the body to give you an opportunity to set an intention, whether it's for your yoga practice today, maybe it's just for your day ahead, or maybe it is for your week or your season ahead. And all that means is bringing your attention to some sort of quality you would like to emulate, not only on but off your yoga mat. Okay, Tony Robbins always says energy flows where attention goes. So where do you want your attention and your energy to go? Bring that into your heart, bring that into your mind, and carry that off your mat with you too. And taking just another couple breaths here, whether you're in that box breath pattern or you're just breathing normally. And we'll start to slowly, kindly wake up the body. Let's start with just a simple shoulder shrug with the breath. So on your next inhale, and you can release any hand variation you have. As you inhale, draw the shoulders up nice and high to the ears. And on the exhale, roll those shoulders down your back. Make it nice and dramatic if you can. Get that full range of motion here in your shoulder. Let's do that again. Inhale. Shoulders nice and high. Suck the belly in. Exhale, slow and controlled roll down the back. Good. Let's drop our right ear to the right shoulder. Make sure the left shoulder is not lifting up. You want a nice stretch here along the left side of the neck. Eyes can stay closed here if you'd like. Again, it's always up to you, whatever serves you better. And then very slowly and gently, we're going to lift the head and just gaze off that right shoulder. So now we're getting a little bit of a different variation of a neck stretch. Good. Gazing off the right shoulder, whether eyes are open or closed. And keeping the gaze where it is, let's just invite a gentle twist through the spine. So you can reach for the outside of your right knee with your left hand, and you can plant your right hand just behind your sits bones. And very gently twist from the core, again, keeping that gaze, whether eyes are open or closed, off that right shoulder. Try not to let the left knee or hip lift. Good. And breathe. We don't hold our breath while we're twisted. And then very slowly release out of that twist. Let's just take a gentle walk forward with the hands. Okay. Bringing the heart space closer to the ground. It may get very close depending on your range of motion. It may not. That's okay. Keeping the hips grounded. Keeping your head and neck in line with your spine. Gentle walk forward with the fingertips. And continue to breathe. We're going to be here for 2 more breaths. Good. Again, slowly and with control as we wake up the body, start to walk the fingertips back in toward the body and bringing the top body back to neutral. Good. We are going to switch the cross of our legs, but I want to, as we uncross first, let's lift them up into a little boat pose. Activate the core. So in boat pose, you can have your legs straight, top body is leaning back slightly so the core engages, arms framing out the legs. You have the option to bend the legs, which is a great option that's early in our practice. Or if you don't want to come into the core that much or it's too early for you, plant the soles of the feet. Just lean back slightly so you can feel the abdominals start to engage. So whichever variation you'd like, let's take it for 5, 4, don't hold your breath, engage the core, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to cross with the opposite leg in front. Good. And again, find your comfortable space. And then once you're there, let's drop that left ear to the left shoulder. Nice stretch along the right side of the neck. Make sure we're not lifting up this right shoulder. Keep it nice and neutral in line. Shoulder should be straight across. Good. And then we gently lift the head as we bring our gaze off that left shoulder. When I say gaze, I always say eyes can stay closed. We're just looking in that direction as though our eyes were open. And if you're wide awake and you'd like them open, that is perfectly fine too. Good. Nice and tall through the core and the spine. Nice, slow, steady breaths. And then we're going to invite in that gentle twist here. So reaching for the outside of your left knee with your right hand, planting the left palm behind the glutes, behind the hips. And very gently twisting. Again, gaze off that left shoulder. Twist comes from the core. Keep the core and spine nice and tall. And one more breath here. Good. Gently releasing out of that twist. We're coming back center. And let's take that gentle walk forward one more time now with the opposite leg in front. Good. Keep the knees nice and wide. Keep your sits bones grounded. The hips should not be lifting. And a gentle fold forward with the top body. Again, keeping the neck and head in line with the spine. Nice and neutral. See if you can even just walk a few centimeters more forward. Good. And very slowly and with control, we start to walk the fingertips back in as the top body lifts. Back to our easy seat. And we're actually going to roll over the knees, coming into a tabletop pose. And once you get there, we're going to move into some cat-cow. So let's line up first with our wrists and hands directly under our shoulders. Our knees about 2 fist width or inner hips distance apart. Toes can start untucked. Suck in that belly, neutral spine. And on your next inhale breath, you're going to drop the belly. Lift your gaze, arch your spine, maybe even tuck the toes. Good. Exhale breath, press through the palms, untuck the toes, round the spine high to the sky. It's our cat pose. Good, we're going to move through a few more rounds, linking our breath with our movement. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the hips, lift the gaze, tuck the toes. Good. Exhale, press through the palms, untuck the toes, round that spine nice and high to the sky. Do that one more time with the breath. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, tuck the toes. This is our cow. On your exhale breath, you press through the palms as you untuck the toes and round that spine up high to the sky. That angry cat back. Good. Coming back to our neutral spine. Good. Let's bring the knees together to touch. Toes are untucked here. And just drop both hips over to the right as your gaze comes off that left shoulder. And hover it right above the ground. You'll feel the obliques engage. You'll feel a nice side body stretch. Good. Let's come back center slowly and with control to the other side. Drop both hips stacked to the left so my legs are touching. They're stacked. Dropping that hip right off the ground. Nice stretch. Helps warm up the wrist. Just that one more time to each side. Drop hips to the right. Gaze off the left shoulder. Good. Nice slow and controlled movement coming through center. Hips come to the left. Gaze off the right shoulder. Good. Coming back center. Let's tuck our toes. But before we lift all the way up, I want you to just hover the knees off the earth a couple inches. You'll feel the core engage here too. You'll feel your quads start to work. Good. And then you can even take a gentle press backward. I don't know about you guys, but I get a really big stretch in my Achilles and in the bottom of my foot here. Good. And then once we're ready, we can start to drop the heels as we lift the hips, finding our first downward facing dog. Good. Make any adjustments you need to with your hands and your feet. Fingertips nice and spread. Feet about inner hips with distance apart. Making that upside down V shape. So melting the chest back towards the thighs. Letting the head hang heavy. And since it's our first time here, let's pedal out the feet. Get a nice little calf stretch. Take any movements you need to get comfortable here. Any adjustments in this posture. We're here quite a lot in our yoga practice. And then I actually want you to take a couple small steps forward, not all the way up, just so your feet are flat to the ground. So we're in a shortened downward facing dog. Good. Get a nice gentle stretch in the back of the legs. Really think about lifting your hips as you ground your heels. Good. And we're going to take a nice little stretch here. So when you're ready, look underneath that left arm. And you're going to reach for the outer part of your left leg with your right hand. So you only have 3 points connected now. Now, it doesn't matter where it reaches. Maybe it reaches the ankle. Maybe it comes higher up on the leg. It's a really gentle twist here. Good. And then you can release that. Find your center. Find your balance. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side in the shortened dog. So your feet should be fully grounded. Weight comes into both feet in the right hand. Left hand reaches for the outside of the right leg as the gaze comes underneath the right arm. Nice little twisted down dog. Good. Don't hold your breath. And then release that left hand. And let's take a nice, really slow walk with the feet to meet the hands. Top body continues to hang heavy. We'll meet at the top of the mat in our forward fold Uttanasana. And again, letting gravity do the work here as we hang heavy. Think about elongating the back of the legs. Letting gravity do the work here. Take any movements if you need to. It's our first time here. On our next inhale breath, let's come to a halfway lift. So as you inhale, you'll come to a flat back, hands come to the shins. And on your exhale breath, you'll fold. Good. Maybe take a couple gentle sways here, letting the head hang heavy again. Good. Slowly, we're going to take a slow rise to stand. So upward salute, one vertebrae at a time. I'm going to back up just so you can see me. Good. Coming all the way to stand. Inhale, arms come out and overhead for our upward salute. Maybe a gentle back bend if that's in your practice. And on your next exhale breath, part the hands, swan dive back into your forward fold. Good. Plant the palms. We're going to step back to plank. Good. Top of a push-up. Suck that belly in. Nice strong arms here. Nice strong core. And then lift the hips as you lower the heels, downward facing dog. Let's take another walk to the top of the mat. We'll meet in that forward fold once more. Then we're going to pick up the pace just a little bit. Inhale for that upward salute. Rise all the way up. Gentle back bend if that's okay for you. If it's not, don't do it. Swan dive, part the hands back into your forward fold. Good. From here, we're going to plant the hands or peace fingers. And we're going to take a big step back with the left foot so we're in a low lunge. Okay, high on the left toes, right sole of the foot is fully connected here. Nice deep bend in that right leg. Make sure you're not resting the top body. Blocks are a great option here. We're going to take a nice little twist by planting the left hand inside the right foot, peeling that right arm up high to the sky. Easy twist. Gaze can be up at that right hand. If that's too much, it can be down toward the left. Good. Take one more breath. Right hand lowers to frame out the foot. And then we're going to gently straighten the right leg. Now, it might not get all the way straight at this point in our practice. That's okay. We're high on the left toes. This is our wide leg pyramid pose. You can bump up the back foot a little bit if you need to. But the goal is to fold over this right leg to open up that hamstring, the back of the leg. Good. So let's take two more breaths here as we let the top body hang heavy. If you need to keep a little bend in the right leg, that's absolutely fine. You don't need to lock out that knee. One more breath. Good. And we're going to invite our balance in a little bit early in today's practice. So make sure that right foot's really grounded and secure because we're going to lift the hands. I always like to bring my hands to prayer at balance just to press at the midline really helps me. And slowly we're going to bring the weight into the right foot as we lift the left knee into the chest. I'm going to back up so you have a full view. Good. So make sure you're bouncing through all four corners of that right foot and find your dristi, something that's not moving in your space that you can stare at. Really small, focus on it. And we're going to invite tree pose in. I figured with the picture I posted yesterday in spring, we have to do a little tree pose. So in tree pose, you have three options. The left toes, well, the left knee is going to turn out, but the toes can be grounded here like a kickstand, or the sole of the left foot can come to the calf, or it can come to the inner thigh. I always need a little help getting it there. Just make sure you're not pressing on your knee. I'm going to keep it at the calf since it's so early in our practice. Hands at prayer heart center. Find your balance. Once you have your balance in your tree pose, make sure that knee's open to the side. You have the option if you want to bring the arms to cactus, 90-degree angles like football goalpost, or if you want to grow your branches like a true tree, go for it. You have a couple of breaths. Again, don't hold your breath while we balance. Find your dristi gaze. That really helps me in my workouts too, guys. Something where you need to find a little balance. Find something really small that you can just stare at that's not moving. Good, let's take one more breath here. Good, wherever you are in your tree, weight stays in the right foot. Let's bring that left knee back into the chest, flex the foot. We're gonna take a big step to the back of our mat, slow and controlled. Plant the toes. Okay, arms come straight overhead. We're in our high lunge. Good, high on the left toe so you can really sink into that right leg. Feel it start to warm up. Feel those muscles start to activate. Shoulders away from the ears, pinkies are spiraled in. So you can get a little bit lower here. Nice strength move on the right leg. Feel a nice stretch on the left. Final breath here. And then lowering the hands to frame out the foot back into our low lunge. Planting the palms so we can bring that right leg back to meet the left. Now, if you want to go right back to down dog, you can. This is a vinyasa class, so if you'd like to flow with me, I'll talk you through it. You can always hold the plank or throw in some push-ups, but to flow, we inhale. On the exhale breath with the arms nice and close to the body, we lower halfway. Good. Inhale breath, find your back bend of choice. Upward facing dog is just the tops of the feet and the hands. You can lower the thighs and hips for a high cobra. If that's too much of a back bend, you can just lift halfway for your low cobra. So you have 3 back bend options there. Pick which one feels best for you today. And then rolling over the toes, meeting back in downward facing dog. Good, pedal it out if you need to. Good, come back to the breath. And then we get to move through that same series of postures on our second side. So to start, we'll take that slow walk to the top of the mat once more. Meet in our forward fold. Good, slow rise, get the body moving, upward salute. Inhale, arms come out wide and overhead. Gentle back bend if that serves you. Exhale, slow fold over straight legs back into your forward fold. Good, this time we're going to step the right foot to the back, finding our low lunge. So left foot's connected, high on the right toes. Make sure the top body's not resting on the leg. Good, find your balance, find your alignment, and then plant that right hand inside of the left foot. Left arm peels up high to the sky, stacked shoulders for easy twist. Gaze at the left hand or down toward the right, depending on how your neck feels today. Let's take one more breath here, twisted. And then slowly we lower that left hand to frame out the foot. And then we straighten that left leg. We're high on the right toes. You can bump them up a little bit if you need to. This is a wide leg pyramid. The goal here is to stretch this hamstring, the back upper part of that left leg. Gentle fold of the top body over that front leg. Good. And again, you don't need to lock out that knee if that doesn't feel okay for you. You can keep a little gentle bend there. Still get the benefits of this posture. And taking our final breath here. And preparing to get that little balance in. So again, I always like to bring my hands to prayer heart center, but do whatever you need to do to bring the weight into that left foot. And then bring that right knee into the chest. Find your drishti, flex that right foot. Balance through all edges of the left. Don't hold your breath here. Good, and then we open that right knee to the side and you find wherever you'd like to go with your tree pose. Again, as long as you're not putting direct pressure on the knee joint, that joint does not move laterally, it's fine. So it can be to the ground, it could be to the calf, it could be to the inner thigh, depending on your flexibility and range of motion. And once you feel balanced here, take your arm variation, whether it's to cactus or growing your branches. I would back up so you could see my arms, but I don't want to lose my balance. But I think you guys are good with this. You got the idea here in our tree pose. Imagine those roots grounding that left foot into the earth. Right, storms come, we sway, but we stand. We stand strong. We are focused. One more full breath here in your tree pose, then we'll slowly come out of it together. Good. So if your branches are extended, if your arms are out, bring them back to prayer heart center. Bring that right knee into the chest, flex the foot. Slowly and with control, we start to kick the right foot back. Top body's going to lean forward a little bit. So you reach the ground, plant those toes, you're on the ball of the foot. Arms come up straight overhead, we're in our high lunge. Good. That transition is really beautiful once you get some practice with it and you feel comfortable with it. It's one of my favorites. Good. Take one breath here. Good. Lower the hands to frame out the front foot. That's our low lunge. Plant the palms. Step back to plank. You guys know your options as always. You can hold this plank. You can take a quick break. You can throw in some push-ups. If you'd like to flow, let's lower halfway. Arms really hugging the sides of the body. Good. Finding your back bend of choice. I always prefer a high cobra here. Nice gentle back bend. And then rolling over the toes, meeting back in downward facing dog. Getting ready for our main standing sequence. Good. Hopefully we're nice and warm, ready for some bigger stretches here. Let's lift the right leg, finding a three-legged dog. Keep your hips square. Doesn't matter how high that leg comes. Maybe it comes high. Maybe it comes hip height. Maybe it just comes a couple inches off the earth. Just listen to your body. Good. And then we're going to bring that right knee in toward the nose. Nice rounded spine. And step that right foot between the hands, finding your low lunge. Good. So we build our base here. Again, high on the left toes, right foot's connected. Can even bring the hands off the earth or to blocks. Want to get a nice deep bend in this right knee. It's a good strength pose, but also a nice big stretch here on the left leg. We're only here for another breath. Good. Then we're going to lower that left knee, untuck the toes, and we're going to lift the hands, or they could stay on the right knee, into our crescent lunge, Anjane Asana, crescent lunge. So if you don't want the arms overhead, they can come right to the knee, interlaced. Our goal here is a nice deep stretch on this left hip flexor, so the front of the left hip. Maybe start with the hands interlaced and then see how you feel to lift them overhead. Okay, feel free to gently walk the foot forward or extend that left knee back so you can get the full benefit of this stretch. Cactus arms are a really nice option here too as well if you want to open the heart space. Get a nice stretch in the shoulders and pectoral muscles. Good. Wherever you are, let's take 2 more full breaths. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale for 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Let's lower the hands wherever they are to frame out the front foot. And then we're going to straighten the right leg, keeping the left hip right above the left knee, hip away from the heels. And we're going to lower the top body over that right leg for a runner stretch or a half split. So your left toes can be tucked or untucked here depending on how it feels for you. You can flex these right toes back toward your face to intensify this stretch. But we're not leaning back here. We're folding forward. Good. Nice deep hamstring stretch, which are tight for many people. So we're going to use our breath here. We're just going to settle in for a few more breaths. Getting to that point, of our full range of motion without hurting ourselves. And settling in there for a few moments. Good. Let's take one more full breath here. And then slowly preparing to come out of this, we're going to plant the sole of that front foot. I have my fingertips framing it out. I'm going to tuck those left toes in back, and we're going to take a shift and lift into a modified, meaning our hands are down, warrior 3. So left leg comes up hip height, flex the foot so the toes are facing down. If you want to come to blocks, here you can. We don't want to fold here. We want to keep the chest as lifted as possible. If you want to take the balanced variation, you certainly can by bringing the hands off of the earth to prayer heart center, maybe even alongside of the body. Sometimes out front feels really good too. So you always have options, guys. Take what serves you best, whether you're modified or not. If you're balanced, take another breath. And then I do want everyone to come back to the modified variation because we're going to take, well, you don't have to. You can stay in Warrior 3, but I'd like to give you the option of taking a half moon. So great place if you have a block. Right hand would plant to the block or fingertips to the earth. I'll walk you through this. Left leg still lifted, right foot still connected. We're going to lift the left hand to the left hip as we stack hips. So now my hips are open, meaning the left hip is on top of the right, left shoulder on top of the right. Left foot is flexed, and then the final piece is that left arm peels up high to the sky for your half moon. I'm going to turn, I'm going to come out of this and turn just to give you a visual, because that gets kind of cut off on that angle here of how this looks. If you need a visual, you can take a quick peek here. We're in our half moon or your warrior three. One of my favorite poses. I'm going to come back to the side so we can all get out of this together. Good. We're going to come back to that modified warrior three. So now the hips facing forward, toes are facing down, fingertips are connected. That left knee is going to drop behind the right onto the ball of the foot. So we have crossed legs here. And then we're going to lift the top body and sink into our Krishna. It's kind of like a curtsy lunge here. Good. So my left knee is almost kind of feels nice pressing on my right calf. Tall through the spine, hands at prayer heart center, so you can sink a little bit lower here. Good. Don't hold your breath. One more full breath, then we're going to come out of this. Good. Keeping the cross of the legs, let's straighten the legs and fold. Adjust as needed. We're in a cross-legged forward fold. Good. Take one more breath. And then I want you to uncross the legs and bring them out to the outer edges of your mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Maybe even grabbing elbows, taking a gentle sway. We call this ragdoll. You can keep the legs straight or you can bend one at a time. See how that feels. Again, like I said before, always options. So listen to your body and pick what serves you best. Good. Or you can just hang straight down the middle, hang heavy. Wherever you are, take about 2 more breaths. Good. And then coming center, let's plant the palms between the feet. And we're going to take a big step back with the left foot coming into lizard lunge. So adjust yourself as needed. You should have your right foot to the outer edge of the mat. And then both palms planted so your right foot and your palms are in line with one another. High on the left toes. You can take a couple gentle rocks back and forth off the left toes. Now you have the option if you want to stay lifted. I'm going to give you a handful of breaths here. So if you want to lower that left knee and untuck the toes, they say this is modified and it is as far as your effort and your strength, but it's a little bit of a deeper stretch. So from here you can stay on the palms. You can come to forearms if that's available. I like to come to the left forearm, use my right hand to gently nudge that right knee open. So rolling to the outer edge of that right foot. As always, every body is different. So what works for somebody might not work for somebody else. So pick your variation and just settle in for a couple of breaths. Nice big hip opener here. Nice big hip flex or stretch. Making sure you're not holding your breath, whatever variation you are in. Let's take 2 more full breaths here. Nice deep inhale. And exhale for 1. Good. Inhale. Slowly release that breath. Good. If you are on the forearms, coming back to the palms. If you roll to the outer edge, plant the sole of that right foot. Let's plant those left toes, lift the knee so we're back in our lizard lunge where we started. And we're going to step that right leg now back to meet the left to high plank. And again, you know you can go right to down dog or hold this plank. But if you want to flow, inhale. Exhale brings you halfway down. Inhale finds your back bend of choice. Exhale, rolling over the toes, meeting back in downward facing dog for our final standing sequence. Good. So we'll start again with that 3-legged dog. This time the left leg lifts. Again, doesn't matter how high it comes. Try to keep your head and neck in line with your back. Good. Hips are staying square. And then we're going to bring that left knee in toward the nose, that angry cat back high on the right toes. And then we try to slowly and with control plant the sole of the left foot between the hands. for our low lunge. If you need to take a couple steps to get there, that is perfectly fine. Let's check our alignment first before we come out of this. So deep bend in the left leg, high on the right toes, shoulders and hips squared to the front. You can have peace fingers, blocks, or you can hover. If you're hovering here, really engage the core and the inner thighs to help with your balance. Let's take one more full breath. Good. If the hands are elevated, bring them back to the earth. Slowly lower that right knee. Untuck the toes. And then you have the options, arms straight overhead. Or if you started with them interlaced on the knee on the first side, go ahead and do that. As we gently sink forward and down, feel free to adjust the left foot forward or back as needed. Adjust the right knee back as needed. Our goal here is this nice stretch along the front of the hip in our hip flexor, which is an area that a lot of people experience tightness. I know I am one of them for sure. So you can keep the hands interlaced. Maybe you have them overhead. Again, it really doesn't matter. Whatever arm variation you prefer. Just make sure our focus here is on that right hip flexor. Good. Don't hold your breath here. We're going to be here for a few more breaths. Really think about opening the heart, opening the chest space here while you're getting this nice hip flexor stretch. Good. Let's take one more nice full breath. And then wherever your arms are, you're going to bring the hands down to frame out the left foot. Right toes can tuck or they can stay untucked as you straighten out that left leg. Good. Really flex the left foot back toward your face. Square your hips and shoulders and gently fold over that left leg. So we're not sitting back here. My right glute is high away from my right heel. The movement comes from this fold over the left leg. So getting the top body closer to that leg. And breathing. Again, hamstrings are another area where a lot of people experience a lot of stiffness and tightness. So we want to give it some time, give it our breath, give it our focus to settle in here and relax. If you're not breathing, that area is going to tensen up. It's kind of gets into a little bit of panic mode when you're pushing it to its limits. So we don't want to go too far. We want to go right to that point where we feel it good, but we're continuing to breathe and relax into it. Let's take another breath or two here. And then we'll prepare to come out of this together. So bringing the sole of the left foot to the earth. Fingertips are still framing out the left foot. Let's tuck our right toes. And we're going to prepare for that big shift and lift into that modified warrior three. If you need to take a couple of movements to get there, that's perfectly okay. But once we're in our modified warrior three, legs are straight or that left leg can keep that micro bend there. Right foot flex so the toes are facing down, shoulders and hips square to the mat. Now you have the option again to come to blocks, keep these fingers connected, or finding a little bit of balance if that's something you're working on. Any arm variation you took on the first side. Lots of options here. Good. If you're balanced, start to come out of that. I'm going to give you that option. You know you can stay here in warrior three if you'd like, or if you want to come to half moon. Left hand plants or comes to a block. Right hand to the right hip as you start to stack hips. So we're opening now the hips to the side. Flex the right foot, legs are straight. Right arm peels up high to the sky. Good. Beautiful pose here, Ardha Chandrasana, our half moon. If half moon is not your jam this morning, then stick with that warrior three, either balanced or modified, because we're all going to meet you there in just another breath or two. If you are in this half moon, let's take one more full breath. And then slowly closing up the hips, bringing the right hand down. We're back into that modified warrior three. Good. If you're not modified, bring the hands down. Let's cross that right knee behind the left leg. As you bend the legs, top body lifts, hands to prayer. We sink into our Krishna. So left sole of the foot is fully connected, but I'm on the ball of the right foot. Hips and shoulders square to the front so you can get a little bit lower. Good. Don't hold your breath. Nice and strong here. Good, then we get a little relief by straightening the legs, folding over cross legs. Good, we're in this cross-legged forward fold. Good, take a couple breaths here. Adjust the feet as needed. If you run or cycle a lot, this is a nice stretch for that IT band area. You can't truly stretch the band, but the muscles around it feels really good. Good, and then we're going to come out of this into that wide-legged forward fold. So uncrossing the legs, heel-toeing them out to the edges of your mat and folding heavy here, letting the top body hang. Good. If you took ragdoll on the first time and you want to do that again, you can. Again, straight legs, or if you want to find that deep bend side to side, always options. The bodies are all so different, our experiences are different, our flexibility and range of motion is different, so it's always nice to have choices. But wherever you are, coming back center, planting the palms inside the feet, and this time keeping the left foot forward, we'll take a big step back with the right leg high on the right ball of the foot to start in our lizard lunge. So palms and left foot in a line, gentle rock forward and back into our lizard lunge. And then knowing you have the option, if you'd like to stay lifted, you certainly can. But if you want to drop that right knee, untuck the right toes. Good. It takes a little bit of the strength aspect away. You get a little bit of a deeper stretch, and then you know you can advance this even further if you'd like to. By rolling to the outer edge of the left foot, maybe coming to both or to one forearm. My right one's very easy there. My left one's a little bit more of a struggle, right? Depends on the day. I like to bring that left hand in the inner left knee just to guide that hip open. So nice hip flexor stretch on the right, nice outer hip stretch on the left. Go ahead and settle in for a couple of breaths. And guys, after this is our last posture in this sequence, and then we'll flow, and then we're going to come into some nice grounding stretches to round out and wrap up our practice today. Taking a few final breaths here, whatever variation of lizard you are in. And then preparing to come out of this, so slowly, one piece at a time. If you're on the forearms, coming back to the palms. Good. Bring the sole of the left foot back to the earth. Tucking the right toes, lifting the knee. We're back where we started in our lizard lunge, or maybe that's where you stayed. And then we're going to step the left leg back to meet the right. We're in our high plank pose. If you're going to flow, it's the final one we're going to do. So take an inhale breath to prepare. As you exhale, you lower halfway, arms nice and close to the body. Good. Find your back bend of choice. This is our high cobra. I like to find toes are untucked, legs and hips are connected, pressing through the palms, even lifting the chin, dropping the head. Good. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Our final downward doggy of the day. And this time let's walk the hands to the feet at the back of the mat. And then we're just going to come to sit. And you can extend your legs out long in front of you. Okay, good. And take a breath if you need to. Good job, guys. We're going to start to bring it down a little bit here. So this is our staff pose, nice and tall through the core and the spine. Legs extended out long in front of you. Let's inhale the arms overhead. And on the exhale, leading with your heart and a flat back, let's take a gentle fold forward. So try not to have a lot of roundness in the spine, right? I'd rather you not come as far down and keep that all straight. Getting the chest closer to the thighs. Reaching for the shins, reaching for the feet, whatever's available to you. Good. Settling in here for a couple of breaths. Coming back to the breath if you lost it at all as we were moving. Don't feel bad if you did. I did a little bit too. Good. And we're going to take a nice little twist here. And you don't have to if you want to. You can stay right here. If you want to take a nice little twist with me, this is one of my favorite variations. You're going to reach for the outer edge of your right foot with your left hand. So you're kind of coming across the body. And you're going to actually lift that heel off the earth as you peel the right arm behind you and gaze comes off that right arm. I'm going to come to the side, again, just for a better visual. Gentle twist, gazing off that right hand. Good. And then let's slowly release out of that. You can just release the grip for a second, shake it out if you need to. We're gonna do that one more time to twist to the opposite side. So when you're ready, your next inhale breath again, once more, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, guide you back down, leading with your heart in a flat back into this folded staff pose. Knowing you can stay here. If you took the twist on the first side, I would recommend taking it again here on the second side. So you'll reach for the outer edge of your left foot with your right hand coming across the body. And let's try to do it simultaneously. As you lift the left foot off the ground, bring that left arm behind you, gazing off of it. So gentle twist through the core. You should even feel a nice stretch just by pulling this foot. You'll get a nice stretch in the upper back and in the shoulder here. Good. Don't hold the breath. Good. And if you're in this variation, slowly releasing out of it once more. Good. Shake it out if you need to. Top body nice tall. We're going to take a nice slow lower, so using our core to help us all the way to our back. So I like to put my arms out in front and slowly and with control start to lower. And once you get to that point where you feel like you really want to speed it up, see if you can use that core, use those abs just to come a little bit slower. Oh, feel it working. All right. And then eventually we'll all meet all the way on our backs. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. Couple more stretches just to round out our practice. Let's take a nice bridge pose here. We do this a lot in our warm-ups and in our workouts at Carbone. So we're going to take a couple bridge poses here. Bring the heels closer to the sits bones, bend the legs, plant the soles of the feet. Good. And then think about shimmying your shoulder blades closer to one another underneath the back as you lift the hips up high to the sky. Good. Make sure your knees are not splaying out wide. Try to keep them together. See if you can lift a little bit higher. Make sure you have some space between your chin and your chest for your air to flow freely. Good. And then slowly lower. Let's windshield wiper out the legs. So just dropping the knees gently side to side, loosening up that lower back. We're going to do one more bridge pose here. Nice gentle back bend. Good. Okay, so coming back center again, shoulder blades nice and close, shining that heart, lifting it. Bringing the heels closer to the sits bones, then pressing through your heels as you lift your hips. Again, make sure you have some space between your chin and your chest. You can even shimmy those shoulder blades closer together. Get a little more height here. Let's take one more breath. And slowly and with control, we lower out of that. If you want to drop the knees side to side again, you can. Nice gentle windshield wiper movement. Good. And let's take actually a deeper spinal twist. Let's hug the knees into the chest here. We're going to really wrap up our practice with a spinal twist. It's one of my favorite ways to end class before we come into our final rest. So let's drop both knees over to the right. You can use the right hand to the outer edge of the left knee. Left arm extends out to the side. Gaze can follow even if the eyes are closed. And take a few breaths here as you settle into your spinal twist. Good. Close the eyes. Keeping your focus in the room for just a few more minutes as we wind down our practice. Let's take your final breath here. Releasing the hand grip if you have it, so that right arm will extend out long to the side. Using the core, hug the knees in as they come through center, dropping them over to the left. Left hand to the outside of that right knee. Oh, I'm dropping on my blocks and my phone. All right, twisting from the core, gazing off that right arm, eyes closed. Settle in for a few breaths here. Let's take our final twisted breath. Good. Let's bring the knees back in through center. Give yourself one more squeeze here. Maybe even curling up into a ball. Good. And then release everything out long, finding your final resting pose. Go ahead and settling in here. If you need to switch the song to the final song, if you're on my playlist, it's just one skip ahead to acceptance. Let's take a nice deep lion's breath here just to help settle in. So breathe in through the nose, fill all the way up, hold it for a moment at the top, and then open mouth and really let it out like you're fogging up a mirror. And close your eyes and settle in. Trying to relax the body, trying to quiet the mind. Coming back to your goals, your intentions, your plans, your thoughts for the day and the season, the week ahead. And hopefully feeling a little more relaxed, a little more loose, a little more calm, a little more controlled. And finding a variation of Shavasana where you can just settle in, hopefully not fidget too much, hopefully find some stillness, which is such a rare thing. I'm just going to take a few moments here. If you find your mind starts to wander, just really think about and focus on your breath. Feel it filling up your body, feel it leaving your body, feel the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. Just giving yourself permission to slow down for these last few moments together today. And as always, I encourage you, if your day will allow you to stay longer, please do so. Take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, and really find some stillness and some peace in the body and the mind. But if you have somewhere to be or you're just dying to get out of this, and I used to be that way, it's taken time to get comfortable here. Let's just take our final few breaths, and then we'll start to come out of it. Okay, if you're on my playlist, that Shavasana song is ending, so you can pause whatever comes on next. And you can start to wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes. Our goal is to just invite some gentle movements back into the body without disturbing the peace you just created. Let's take a nice full body stretch. So bring the legs together to touch, point the toes, extend the arms overhead so you have a really nice long line all the way from the fingertips to the toes. If you don't have space to extend overhead, you can always grab for opposite elbows. Good, and then let's hug the knees into the chest one final time, giving yourself a nice little loving squeeze. And then rolling over onto your right side, finding fetal pose. After Shavasana, we have our position of renewal, of fresh starts. And whenever you're ready, and there's no rush at all, using your left hand for some support, gently guide yourself into an easy seat where we started just about 45 minutes ago, give or take, maybe closer to 50. Good. Let's end class with one collective breath. So even though we're not together, let's breathe as if we are. Take a nice deep inhale. Fill all the way up. And then let it go. Bringing the hands to prayer heart center, bowing the head toward the heart. Thank you all so much for joining me, for allowing me to be your guide. It is my honor and my pleasure. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thanks, guys. I hope everyone has a great day and a great week. Get outside, enjoy what I think is supposed to be a nice day, and I'll see you.